Welcome back to Resource Radio, the hardest hitting business show on the net. With me is Ryan Parkert. I am Darren Martin. Sitting alongside us is Jason Bressler from the North Phoenix Chamber of Commerce and attorney Frank Lopo. We're back. Hi, guys. How are you?
Well, Frank's not actually an attorney. He plays one on TV.
That's exactly
on the radio.
Yeah,
on a
he's
webcast.
He's playing attorney right now.
Frank Lopo, your webcast attorney. That's a marketing thing nobody's done, Frank.
Yeah, really. We put you in a position that you're, that's not the position you're in.
That's correct. Got to be very clear on that.
Now we're going from one horror story to the next. Let's talk a little bit about.
We were talking about my love life earlier because I don't understand the segue there. With
horror story of calling Frank the attorney. No, I'm just kidding with you, Darren. You know that. You'll get me back later when you slash my tires. Let's talk about the horror story of networking. So I'd love to hear. I've been at networking events where someone traps you in the corner and they want to talk about their cats all night, and I'm trying to do business, and I've had that plenty of times. So Frank, we'll lead off with you. Tell us the worst horror story you've ever had.
I was at a event, one of these big events that has vendor tables and everything, and I was standing next to a friend of mine that was hosting a table, and a gentleman came up and was just crazy look in his eye, and he confronted, and of course this is not the place to do that, but he had an issue with this company and what they'd done to him, and he wanted to take issue with it right then. And the person is trying to, hey, we can call my office. Let's talk about this. Let's not do this here type thing. And the person was just adamant, we're going to do this here and we're going to do it right now. And he's just struggling.
Starts taking his shirt off and we're going to do this. We're going to do this.
Grabs a 2x4, does a big Ric Flair.
Exactly right. And then I'm standing there and I said, so what's really the problem here? And he says, well, so-and-so did this. And I said, well, you do realize this isn't so-and-so. So he was attacking the wrong business. And he had no idea. Exactly right. It just...
I keyed, right? Yeah.
Right. It was just hilarious just watching this. And then the guy was just totally embarrassed in the whole process of not understanding. But he sure thought that person was the person he dealt with in the company.
Oh man!
Wow!
And so he stood there.
Did he stay for drinks?
He stood right there with them, and there was probably at this time about 10 to 15 people drawn around.
Of course. Were they handing out business cards?
Well, and he turned and he made a sincere apology, so all those people could hear it from that standpoint that it wasn't the company.
Saving grace is what that was.
It was just incredible. But so again, a time and place, and if you have a problem with the company and a networking venue, certainly not a place to take that up with them.
Now, Frank, was that actually at like a networking event where the business had a booth?
Yeah.
Because I would crawl under the table and never come back down.
I thought it was at a bar or something.
I would call it a day at that point. I'd be like, I'm done.
Well, and because you just can't control it. And like I said, the guy was having none of it until he finally mentioned the company he was mad at. And you're like, well, you kind of look at this sign.
The banner. It kind of gives it away there, buddy.
Yeah, right. Was that networking group supposed to be here this week?
Oh, sorry. Wrong week.
Right. Exactly right.
Jason, give us one of yours.
Well, I was at a networking event, and this particular person came up to me and said how poor the food was, and how she will never come back to a networking event because of the food. And
missing the whole point there.
And sweat was literally pouring down her face as she was complaining to me in front of other folks. And I said I'd be more than happy to work with you. How was the networking experience? Well, I met all these people, and we're going to be contacting each other. I don't know. But the food, and she kept going back to the food and the food, and I would go, well, the purpose...
Were you cooking that night? Was that you? That was
me.
You were in the... Yeah, you do everything over there at the chamber. Yeah,
it was me. He gave me microwave duty, and I was just sitting there like, all right, let's go.
Yeah,
another burro.
Yeah, I messed up on the food, and I just... a lot of people were complaining, and it was just horrible. But no, this particular person was just so focused on the fact that
The food
she
was bad,
received was
right.
bad.
I hate to
And-
say it, Jason. It's you didn't mess up on the food. Trust me. I've been to your events. They're fantastic events. I think what happens is I think a lot of people go in with one set of expectations, thinking that that particular event's going to be the end all be all for their business. And what happens is they don't even get the point. So they end up cutting off their nose to spite their face just because they're going there. And
Well, don't a lot of people, Jason, you can probably speak for this. They come into a networking event like that, and they just expect to sit in a chair and have people come to them for business. They don't expect to do any talking, any marketing of themselves. Just saying hello to people is all you need sometimes to open the door and find out, hey, you got kids that go to the same school or whatever, and you're in. But they don't take the time. They're there for the food. They come in, they have a few drinks, they get wine, they get, it's a social event, which is fine to loosen people up in a business situation as a chamber event.
Yeah, but don't have
if you're
20.
if you're not marketing yourself, stay home.
I see the guy that has sometimes I go to these larger networking events that are, held by some of the organizations here in the
Talking
Valley.
Stick and one of those.
Yeah, and they're fantastic. But you always get those certain people that huddle around the bar for the first 2 hours, and then they cut loose. Yeah. And it's horrible.
They hit the crowd. Yeah,
it's horrible. Yeah, all right. What do you do? And then you can't. I hate to say this, you can't move them along.
Get a room full of
because
Foster Brooks.
They want to grab
All right.
onto you, and they're like, "So, are you single?" And I'm like, "Wait a second. I'm
No,
not
but I
here
have
to
a
get
Scorpio.
I have a wife, and yes, I'm a Virgo, and I didn't know this was a dating session. What are we doing here? And those people are crazy, and that's what I was telling you about the cat story. I've literally had that happen where someone at a trade show cornered me to tell me about his 12 cats he has, all their personalities, everything about it. I finally was like, I appreciate it. If you want to talk to me about your cats, I'd be more
You
than happy.
sure it wasn't Adam and James that set that person
Yeah,
up?
I'd be more than happy to hook you up with my psychiatrist. Here's my card. Call me back at a later date.
Well, and you do find some fascinating businesses that are out there that people are doing that sometimes in my head I'm thinking, boy, I didn't know that could be a good business, but it's interesting, and that's really what it's about. It's in that networking arena. It's engagement. So explain to me. You're a animal psychologist. How does that work? I'm very curious. I mean, I'm interested.
And how do you know your success rate?
Right, exactly right. So
I mean, really.
The dog stops peeing on the couch.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, we got rid of that nervous problem.
But those are, again, that is what is just fascinating about all of this, is you engage and talk with people, their stories they share. But too many times we never get to that piece of it, that as a networker, when you're out there and you just ask some pointed personal questions, it's pretty fascinating that people get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Most people, like myself, like to talk about themselves, but when given that opportunity directly, you tend to freeze up and think, what's the angle here? Well, I just asked you, tell me about your family. I don't care about your business. Yeah. And so you can make those connections. I mean, we had in one of our attorney groups that, asking who's the most influential person in your life, and one attorney says a high school history teacher back in a small town in Iowa. The next person introduces themselves, and then the very next person asks the question, what was the name of that town, what was the name of that high school, and what's the name of that teacher? Because I had the same exact experience, and I went to the same high school, and I know that teacher. Yeah. And 2 hours before, they didn't have any idea.
That's what I was talking about earlier. You're finding
they may have even been competitors. They may not have even wanted to talk to each other because they probably thought they might have been competing for the same business.
Could have been that lady and the chef.
Right.
The what?
The lady that was complaining about the food.
Okay. Sorry, you lost me for a second.
It's only an hour show, right?
Yeah, I know.
Stay
I
focused.
didn't have enough coffee this morning.
Yeah.
And that's really what you want to get to, and that's when you find success, because you've made a personal connection with somebody that's not business related.
Yeah.
And when you introduce that person to somebody, you can share some of that with them to make that referral that much better, versus just, hey, you need a pool guy, here's a couple of people to call. That's really of no value to me.
Yeah. And I think that's what it comes down to. I always equate it that business, is really friendship 101.
Sure.
And, being a native Texan, things are done a little bit different in Texas. you're friends first before you do business. You do not jump straight into business. You are going to learn about the person. You may even you're going to have drinks with them. You may actually go to a family event with them before you even start thinking you're going to do business. You do not just jump right into the pool. You have to dip your toe in, you have to get ankle deep, knee deep, and then finally you're in. And that's how the business works. And so that's where I really think that a lot of folks also make some problems with networking is not only is it unrealistic expectations, but they think that they're going to do business with everybody in the room.
Sure.
So tell me some no-nos of networking, things that people shouldn't do going into a networking environment, because I think a lot of times we learn more from what you shouldn't be doing than what you should. Jason?
Well, one thing I always tell people is don't shove your materials, your business cards right down somebody's throats, because ultimately, as you guys are saying, you have to get to know somebody first. You have to better understand what they're looking for, and not try to push a product or service right away on somebody. It's very important that, again, you get to know the person, you get to know what it is that you can do to help each other, what it is that, makes you guys want to do business together.
What their goals
ultimately,
are.
What your goals are. Thank you. Yes. And I think it's important, too, to come in with an open mind and not a closed mind. So, if you're an advisor, financial advisor, and you already have relationships with attorneys, I would still be open to receiving other relationships with other attorneys, because you never know what their needs are and you never know what their clients' needs are.
Right.
And come in with an open mind. Don't come in saying, I don't want to meet any attorneys. It's important that folks come in, are excited, are positive, and are open to meeting new people. So those are two things I would say right away.
Frank, what no-nos do you have?
Don't go to any type of networking event with an expectation you're going to walk out with business, because you always get disappointed in that. Sometimes it works, but you always get disappointed in that. And don't take yourself too seriously, because
that's really important.
It is,
because I don't do that.
I mean, believe me. I mean, I've introduced myself as people said, "So, Frank, what do you do?" "Oh, I do dirty deeds done dirt cheap," and they look at you, but now they've engaged. They're like, "You're a
And
jerk."
now they want to know what it is you do. Yeah,
Exactly right.
Well,
Versus,
I know you're the director of Awesome, so
Well,
that's all, that's all I need to know.
Wow.
and it becomes, because I always look at people and say, "Look, what kind of
When I
horses-"
saw that on your business card, I thought that was just hype. That's
No,
true then, huh?
That's very true.
very true.
That's true. And people look at that and like, who is this guy? That's a pretty high standard to live up to.
You probably shouldn't have put the picture of you with no shirt flexing on your business card. That gives off the wrong message.
Yeah, but it was the Speedo that really did it for me.
Hey, look at that guy back in New York. The Wiener's coming back, man. He's
Right, I know. He's
getting
going to be a
elected,
mayor or something. Yeah.
So it again, you have
Or
fun
Marion
with-
Barry.
You have fun with it versus just taking yourself so seriously that you're so important of a person that you can't have fun and let people know who you are.
Right. I mean, I'm a little off the wall, but I take my business serious.
Really?
So my customers, back off. My customers come first. I take it very seriously what I do, but I'm a genuine guy, and what you see is what you get. Whether it's a radio or I stand in front of you, I'm going to be a cut up. But when it comes down to business, it's moving forward. What do you need? What can we help you with? So,
and that helps enhance and build that trust in who you are, because that's who people want to know is who you are.
Yeah.
which is the advantage of this radio show, because this turns Xpleo into a media event where people get to see behind the scenes of what we do, and it's not a cold, generic place that you're coming to do business. It's a fun, creative place that will get your business juices flowing. I mean, everybody that leaves, and this is not just a hype for Xpleo, this is the truth. Everybody that leaves us walks away with ideas on a notepad and they all say the same thing in a meeting at some point. I never thought of that. Right. So we're always giving information, and that's free.
Yeah,
you know,
and I think that's an important part of networking too, is being able to understand you have to give freely of yourself.
No question. And one of the best ways to do that is when you go to a networking event or you're going to be a part of a group, is try to always team up with somebody and have them introduce you. Because when Ryan Parker introduces me to people as the director of Awesome, that's not some jerk saying that.
That's right.
It's Ryan
and
Parker.
You got to live up to it, too.
And Ryan Parker delivering it, man. When he says, Frank Lopo is this.
You've been X'd.
That's right. And then I step in the spotlight, and I'm in, let's do it. And then I, in turn, introduce Ryan Parker and Xpleo Media or Jason Bressler or Darren, and just, letting people know that that is just such a comfort level of having somebody speak your accolades, so you're not looked at as, dude, I just had no idea. I tuned you out about 2 minutes ago, but yeah, good to know you.
Right. Yeah. I've been looking at your tie the whole time you've been talking or whatever. Yeah.
And I think in today's day and age, that's the big thing we have to understand as small businesses. We cannot go it alone.
No
Marketing
question.
truly is a team sport. I wrote a blog about it, and even when I was writing the blog, I was doing research, and I was thinking back to the past 7 years since we started Xpleo. I was thinking about how much our business has grown because of the team that we've surrounded ourselves with.
Sure.
And it's not my internal team. I love Darren. Darren goes out and does a great job. But Darren even knows it's not me. We can't sit in a room all day and talk to each other and business get done. The team is really those folks.
Although in those meetings, we are studs.
Oh, sure.
We really are.
Yeah.
It's genius stuff.
Yeah, it is.
exactly. I'm always the smartest one in the
We're
room.
really afraid-
Wait, I'm the only one in the room most
Most of the time, we're afraid of unleashing this on the world, so we kind of keep it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Global domination.
Sure, Darren. But that I think is really important. I think realistically, network is important for creating a team. It is a team sport, and that's what's really important. And I know at our BNI, that's what we have, and I know with the North Phoenix Chamber of Commerce that it's there as well. It's just there in a larger scale. But I know inside of it, there are lots of teams inside the North Phoenix Chamber of Commerce, and someone can't get lost thinking that it's so big that I'm not going to find my place. There's plenty of places to land. What you're looking for is finding those individuals that you mesh with. And those are the folks that become your power team. And that's what
And
you
that
look
brings up a
for.
good point, Jason. Why don't you give us the range of what North Phoenix Chamber covers as far as Phoenix area?
Sure. We cover Anthem south to Northern, and then we cover 51st Avenue to Scottsdale Road.
Wow.
We're not limited to that service area, so if a business is located in
Right.
Tempe and does business in this area, they're more than welcome to join us and be a part of what we're doing.
That's a pretty huge area.
Absolutely.
That's a big, and that's a growing area all the way up to Anthem. That's huge sprawl
Absolutely.
up there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And with the philanthropy, through the North Phoenix Chamber of Commerce, nonprofits get discounted memberships. So any nonprofits that are looking to expand their donor base, expand their vendor list, anything of that nature, they need to really think about the North Phoenix Chamber of Commerce because they do offer discounts for membership, and it's a fantastic way for even a nonprofit that might not be thinking about networking to be able to expand their reach further into the community through the businesses that are there.
Yeah, absolutely. We offer a $150 a year membership for all nonprofit organizations. And the other thing I want to say is we have a new philanthropy committee that nonprofits and for-profit members can get involved in, where we're going to be planning volunteer efforts throughout the calendar. We're going to be planning opportunities for your businesses to get out there and participate in walks to benefit charities, runs, and working with other organizations like BNI to make a greater impact in our community and to help more people that these charities serve. So it's an organization.
There's a good crossover audience there because of most
Absolutely.
a lot of the BNI members, I don't know what the percentages, but it's got to be pretty high, are also chamber members. Maybe not North
Yep.
Phoenix, but a chamber member. Yeah.
Absolutely, and BNI is a strategic partner of the North Phoenix Chamber of Commerce. We're the only Chamber of Commerce partnered with BNI Arizona. We always encourage folks to join BNI, to join other groups. We want to collaborate and do events with other groups. We're a very open-minded chamber because we don't want to limit
Well, you
opportunities.
have to be. Businesses everywhere. So
Absolutely.
And with that being said, we have coming up in a couple weeks a business roundtable that will be hosted between the Scottsdale Energy BNI chapter and Xpleo. And we welcome any businesses out there that are listening. If you want to attend, you can either log on to the xpleomedia.com website and go under the resource tab, and you can look through there and find where we have presentations. And underneath that will be the business roundtable login information where you can sign up, as well as you can go to scottsdaleenergy.com. And underneath there, there's a tab there that has some resources as well that has the roundtable. You can sign up there. I welcome any businesses listening from the North Phoenix Chamber of Commerce, any BNI members, any business listening to definitely attend that, because we are going to be talking more about the topic of small group networking and its efficiency and effectiveness. Frank, tell us what you see going forward with Strafacci Law. What's your goals in networking and how you see growing your business through your networking influence moving forward?
and throw out your number again before you finish.
Yeah, a couple things. One is another way you can participate in network is by volunteering. and finding things, Habitat for Humanity, because you're going to meet people. And again, it's not a business venue opportunity. It's an introduction. It's knowing people. And, you may be in a situation where you want to meet, the VP of Wells Fargo, and you're at Habitat for Humanity and standing right next to you, pounding
Yeah,
nails.
what better place? They're giving, so they're open to conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
So look in those ideas, and not, again, it's not, hey, I got my card and you're trying to connect a deal there. It's we're both participating. Now you have something in common and those kind of things from that standpoint.
Good idea.
Of looking at that. And, with Strafacci Law, we do 100% of our business through referrals, and it's word of mouth, and it's very exciting because we can't hold a seminar saying, hey, come on down to the Hilton and we're going to talk about your debt, because nobody would show up.
Right. You're putting yourself right in the spotlight on that one.
Right,
Yeah.
and you might run into your neighbor, and you're like, hey.
So that's why you haven't picked your weeds in 3 weeks. You're that past due on your house.
So it's one of those things that we truly believe in everything we're doing, and also a couple things you can do is if you find your power partners, start a networking group with them. I mean, it's a great opportunity to build business.
Which you've done.
Exactly right. And so as you open those doors, it's fascinating as you get involved, and people will say, well, why are you doing this? I said, because if I can sit in a room full of 10 to 15 attorneys every day, I'm doing my job.
And give your phone number again.
602-889-7288.
There we
Do
go.
you see the Esquire groups that you've set up as being an important future part of Strafacci Law as basically it's your own company's internal networking resource?
It's incredible. It started out a year ago with one group, and now we have 22 groups across the valley, and it's 160 members from the people we have in our membership. So it's and I've got probably 20 to 30 other attorneys that want to get in groups. I just can't get enough places to be there. So we're developing some strategies how we're going to maintain and grow this. And I've got attorneys in California that want to be a part of it. I've got people in New Mexico that want to be a part of it. So it's really developed into something pretty crazy.
Jason, give us some of the goals and the future of the North Phoenix Chamber of Commerce through, you are a networking organization. So give us some of the goals that you look forward to moving forward with to help those members that are part of your chamber.
Well, the goals include becoming a chamber of 600 to 800 members in the next 2 to 3 years. We're currently at 400 members. Other goals include making sure that we come up with new member benefits and making sure that we participate in the community and raise as much money for charity as possible through not only our fundraisers, but other fundraisers that we can partner with, other organizations, other members, and then also just educating the community on everything from social media to marketing, so our member businesses and the community as a whole can be more successful and face the issues affecting our community every day. We want to be involved in making sure that our community is a safer, better place, but most importantly, help our member businesses grow and succeed through those efforts. So the Chamber has very lofty expectations in terms of growth, and we're excited to participate in those.
Give us your phone number again, Jason.
602-482-3344.
So I think today we've talked a lot about networking, the potential, the do's, the don'ts. I think for our takeaway for the end of the show is, first off, networking's Friendship 101. Let's take it down to a very personable level. Let's not try to do business on the first contact. Let's actually get to understand who we're dealing with. Participate. Make sure that you're out there and you're actually active in the community. Ask questions of the organizations that you're looking at joining. Look at it as an interview process to make sure you're going to get what you need out of the organizations you're looking at. And next, finding organizations that are looking at growing, like the North Phoenix Chamber of Commerce, and look for those opportunities like what Frank is doing with Strafacci Law. If you want to become someone that can host one of those Esquire groups, get in contact with Frank if you think that that's going to be beneficial to your business. Think outside the standard networking box.
I think the most important thing to all of that is like an umbrella over the top of all that is engage yourself with people. That's the number one thing, because if you do not make that first effort, they may not do it to you. And maybe a very, very good business relationship if you just make the effort to say, hi, my name is, what do you do?
Yeah,
So.
yes. Very true, very true.
All right. Well, thank you again for another episode of Resource Radio, the hardest hitting show in business on the radio, on the internet. Today was Ryan Parker with our guest Jason Bressler and Frank Lopo. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Ryan, you want to say goodbye?
Yeah. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Next week, we will be having some live music here on the show. So have a great week, everybody. Look forward to talking to you next week. Thank you.